Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your service. Kilt-Man, the Kilted God of Thunder. Let's get hammered. So, hope you're all doing well. Oh, I'm wearing the McGregor. This is a McGregor tartan. And my God, it is really super hot. It is El Scorchio. It's like we're at the Earth's core for heat. Europe and the UK is sweltering under possibly a world record breaking heat wave. This Moroccan plume, I think I mentioned it in the previous video, it's finally hit the UK and we are now just deluged in the heat. Almighty heat. Enough about the weather. I did a video yesterday about the announcement about 2 more Halloween movies coming out. One next year, one the year after. Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends. But what I forgot to mention was, on the positive side, at the San Diego Comic Con, awesomeness that is San Diego. I love San Diego. And I love Comic Con. The announcement was for the Marvel Phase 4, which seems to be a Marvel Phase 4 taken over by the ladies, because obviously you've got Captain Marvel, Brie Larson is now head honcho, and you've got Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson getting her own apparently very brutal standalone movie. Can't wait for that one, looking forward to that. And you have another Thor movie. Now, regular viewers will know that Thor is my favourite of the superheroes. And I love the first Thor movie. I didn't like Thor Dark World, although in recent years I've gone back to it and I've actually found it very enjoyable. So there's some naff elements to it, which we'll come on to because it's important. But I do, for the large part, enjoy it. The interaction between Thor and Loki. Some great action scenes, and yeah, I have a good time with it now. But of course, Thor Ragnarok. Holy sweet Jesus. New Zealand film director Taika Waititi really found the niche that Thor should be in. Thor is a buffoon, a heroic champion, a cosmic champion, a god, but a fuckwit at the same time. And they hit the ground with this one because Chris Hemsworth, who's been playing Thor throughout the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, has been genius. He's been the heroic, stoic type, but he's also been a bit of a knobhead at the same time. Arrogant, cocksure, brash, brazen, an idiot, And he's a great comedy actor. He has warmth, charisma, personality, and comic timing par excellence, and he's great at sending himself up. All of which lent itself to the style of Taika Waititi with Thor Ragnarok, which just became a great big, colourful, 1960s style comic font extravaganza of lampoonery, with the Hulk alongside as a big hulking green sidekick. Loads of humour, loads of action, and it really worked. They did cut his hair, and I was not happy about that. Was you, Mr. Thor Bobblehead? Was you happy about that? Apparently he's shaking his head. Or is he nodding? I don't know. He's just bobbling about, as Asgardians do. And I loved it. I thought it was great. And I always wanted another Thor movie. Of course, with everything coming to a head with obviously Infinity War and then Endgame. I mean, I was bored throughout Endgame. I know, sacrilege. I've loved everything up until that point, and for some reason it just didn't do it for me. I do need to watch the film again to get a solid opinion on that movie, and I'm probably wrong, and I'm probably going to go, oh, you know what, I fucking love it now. But at the moment, it doesn't hold up. I'm not arsed about it. However, I did like the way the Thor grew his hair again, grew a great big mountain man beard, and became fat on beer and pizza. It was just clever. It was just a clever way for his character to be rounded out. But the announcement at Comic-Con San Diego for Marvel Phase 4, Thor. There's going to be more Thor. But he's going to pass the baton on. Or should I say, pass the hammer on. He's going to pass Mjolnir on to someone else who's worthy, because throughout the course of this movie, Thor himself will become unworthy of wielding Mjolnir. So someone else has to do it. Now, in the comics, and I have just today ordered all the big collected omnibus versions of the Thor God of Thunder saga and his successor, which, as probably some of you already know, it's going to be Lady Thor. I told you the women were taking over, and it certainly seems to be the case. Now, in the comics, there was a great big mystery as to who would get the mantle of Thor, who this would be passed to. And it was gradually unveiled. I've not read those books. I've not read them. As I say, I've just ordered them, so I'll be able to really, totally immerse myself in it. But when the news came out that it was going to be none other than Jane Foster who was going to replace Thor as Thor, Lady Thor, played again by Natalie Portman, who I know she's Academy Award winning, I think, or certainly nominated. She was great in Black Swan, but she, alongside everyone else, was shite in the Star Wars prequels. But then again, you can't hold that against it. Everything about them was shite. But, she wasn't great in the first Thor or Thor Dark World. In fact, there was zero chemistry. And I don't want to level any complaints specifically at Natalie Portman, because I'm sure she's a great actress. Well, she is. But the material just didn't give her much weight. She was just the damsel in distress, the hanger-on. And, it didn't suit her. And the romance between her Jane Foster and Thor, Odin's son, really was a bit one-sided. I can see Chris Hemsworth was giving his best. I do admire Chris Hemsworth. I think he's great, such a charismatic actor and performer. But the chemistry didn't exist between the two of them. Shame. So it kind of first of all, when I heard, hang on, they're bringing Natalie Portman back as Jane Foster and she's going to become Thor throughout this movie, I was like, what? Oh no, you're kidding me. Surely you can give Chris Hemsworth another couple of spins, because there's such a huge cosmos out there that he can get embroiled in stuff. He's now an Asgardian of the galaxy, because he's firmly entrenched with that team now. But, I don't know, I was a bit, shit. But the good news was that Taika Waititi was returning to direct. Now with him at the helm, this is the guy that also made What We Do in the Shadows, which is that terrific mock-you documentary about modern-day vampires living in New Zealand. And it is, he acts in it as well. Like he acted in Thor Ragnarok, he plays Korg, the made of stone. Fantastic character. And What We Do in the Shadows showed his comic talent, his genius, but also creating real characters that you can invest your time and your belief in. And in Thor Ragnarok, he did exactly the same thing. Greatly, he's doing a sequel to What We Do in the Shadows. I know that's a TV show at the moment, but that's not his TV show. It's like a TV show spin-off. But he's doing a werewolf spin on it as well. But hey, that's beside the point. He's doing Thor Love and Thunder, which is a great heavy rock and roll sort of title. Plus it's a great comic book title. Thor Love and Thunder. I think that's tremendous. What does that tell us? Love and thunder. So the thunder god, love, because don't forget, at the start of Thor Ragnarok, we're kind of told in a very flippant sort of manner that him and Jane Foster have they've split up. And it's just thrown away because clearly she was never meant to return. You can say it was all mapped out years in advance. I don't really think it was, because it wouldn't have been so flippantly dealt with as that. And just a throwaway line that she's moving on, she's got someone else now, good luck to her. And that was that. So to bring her back, and she's definitely doing it because she was there on the stage at San Diego Comic-Con wielding this. Now, as pretty as she is, she has got to do some fucking work, because if you're going to wield that and go and fight numerous bad guys, and women can do it, of course they can. Scarlett Johansson's proved it time and time again. Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie in Ragnarok proved it. Obviously, Kate Blanchett was amazing. You know, as what's her name? Hera. Is it Hera? Can't remember now. But she was the goddess of death. You know, so you've got women who can definitely fight. And of course, the benchmark is Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Yes, that's DC, I know. What does that matter? It's a woman doing absolutely gung-ho heroics and got in shape, kept her femininity, looked astonishingly beautiful, and yet you can believe her athleticism, her agility, her power, her strength. Natalie Portman, you've got a lot of work to do to convince anyone that you can do that kind of shit. But she said, and give her credit, she went, I have got to put the work in and I'm going to be ripped to do this. Well, good on you, hun, good on you. I also know that if they follow the comic books, and I know spoilers ahead, but whether they're going to do this, I don't know. Because Thor becomes unworthy, the next person who becomes worthy to wield Mjolnir is Jane Foster. Whether this has something to do with the aether that was in it in Thor Dark World, I don't know. But the simple fact of the matter is that in the comics, she's dying of cancer. And every time that she raises Mjolnir and goes and fights the good fight, she depletes all the chemo that's in it. So each time she recovers from a battle, her normal human side of Jane Foster is weaker again. And you know where I'm going with this. At the end, apparently, of her run as Thor, I mean, I don't think she actually even gets called Thor, because that's another thing I was going to come on to. But apparently she will eventually die. So, and the real Thor will regain his worthiness and will once again wield Mjolnir. Great! That's what you want. Isn't that what we want? Bobble your head. God damn it. And so that could be how this ends up. I can't imagine they're going to make a Thor and then kill it off at the end of this one. I really can't see that happening. So they're going to get another movie out of it. Maybe she'll have a couple of movies as Thor. But this is the other thing I was coming to. How can you have two Thors? Thor is Thor. He's Thor, Odin's son, the son of Odin. Oh yeah, Odin's gone now. But so how can someone else be Thor? No, Thor isn't. It's a name. It's his bloody name. He is a god. It's not like, right, well, I'm going to have to pass the... Here's the Thor name tag. Now you're Thor. Well, if she's Thor, who the fuck are you? What are you? Odin's son? I don't know. Maybe this gets explained in the books. I really don't know. I cannot wait to read them. And of course, I keep picking up Amazon Prime. They're arriving tomorrow. Oh, yes. Amazon Prime. Oh, baby. Yeah. So I can't wait to dig into these. And obviously, as the months draw by and we hear more about the production of this movie, and I get more and more hyped up and excited, I start doing my weights again like that, Although, what's the point? To look like Natalie Portman? Maybe I'll have to go for some other kind of workout. But, so initially I was like, what? No? But then with Taika Waititi's name attached to it, and the guy, if you look at Thor Ragnarok, yes, it's a rip-roaring action romp full of colour, frivolity, buffoonery, and outright anarchic comedy. But it has the death of Odin, it has betrayals, it has the destruction of Asgard. So it has all these heavy, deep moments, and they do resonate. They definitely do. But they don't detract from the comedy. He gets that balance right. So, hopefully, obviously there's some heavy stuff's going to take place in Thor: Love and Thunder, but with a bit of luck as well, and it's undeniable. Taika Waititi's comedy his anarchic, sensibilities will not be curtailed. They will come to the fore, and with his skill as a director, they're going to enmesh with the heavier elements of the story as well. So, hell yes, I'm now looking forward to it. I am on board. And the run that Lady Thor, whatever you want to call her, had apparently is terrific as well. Full of great artwork and great confrontations and a really good story. So I'm looking forward to that now as well. By the way, this is the Mark Mother's Bow. That's the soundtrack he did for Thor Ragnarok. Because it's crazy, chaotic, weird. It's kind of 80s. There's a fair bit of synth and craziness going on. It's a wacky psychedelic trip. I'm going to turn it up a bit, but I love it. So there were other candidates which fans have put forward who could have been the female Thor, like Lady Sif, played by Jamie Alexander, is it? And she was fantastic. And she ducked out after Thor Dark World would just ceased to be. And of course, Thor Ragnarok disposed of all the other, Thor's busy mates. They were all demolished straight away in a blink of an eye. Bit sad that, but I don't think that was to do with Taika Waititi. That was Marvel and Kevin Feige who was making sure, let's get rid of them. We don't need them bogging down the story. And of course you've got Tessa Thompson, who played Valkyrie in Thor Ragnarok. She'd be ideal as well, because she has got the fighting chops, that brash, brazen sense of humour. If anything, she is a female version of Thor, because she's very cocksure, she's very arrogant, she believes in herself, doesn't give a fuck, has that kind of, brash attitude, and isn't that more perfect? And of course, you've got Beta Ray Bill. Who's Beta Ray Bill? Kilt-Man, I hear you ask. Well, who is he, Kilt-Man? Do you even know? I do know, because he was Thor as well, and he's that fucking weird bronze golden style fucking horse-headed bloody alien thing, which gets to wield this as well, and does become a real good friend of Thor's. When Thor loses Mjolnir and Jane Foster becomes Thor in the comics, he tries to give, I think, Stormbreaker, which is of course the weapon that he has in Infinity War and Endgame. Well, he does get that back as well, I know, in Endgame, but hey, let's not confuse the issue. But he tries to give Stormbreaker to him, and Thor says, no, I'm not worthy of wielding that. So, Thor's in a bit of a desperate fucking position. And there is a homage to Beta Ray Bill in Thor Ragnarok on Sakaar, which is the little flotsam and jetsam planet where everyone ends up when they go for all these fucking, the devil's arsehole and all these portals and stuff. Like, they wind up there with Jeff Goldblum, the awesome Jeff Goldblum, as the master, the games master, and he has his fucking arena, his champions, their heads are all made into statues and they're on the side of the bloody architecture. And those of you who recognised him, well, there was Beta Ray Bill on the side of a building, so he has been acknowledged. So I'd be surprised if they didn't actually bring, that doesn't have to be Beta Ray Bill, does it? Clearly, that could be any one of his species who ended up there, any one of his kind that became a champion. So in Thor Love and Thunder, like they brought Korg in, because Korg and Hulk were from Planet Hulk, that was their story, and they managed to skillfully bring together the two sagas of Thor Ragnarok and Planet Hulk together. Brilliant, it's genius. That's where the film is the best. It's the best that the MCU has to offer in terms of excitement, good story, characterization, all out action and humour. And second behind that would be Captain America, The Winter Soldier, which, let's be honest, that is a great thriller. It's not only a good superhero movie, it's a great, bloody, hard, brutal thriller. It's exciting, it's full of suspense and tension, it's got heroics, but it's a proper, more mature action movie. As I say, I'm going off on tangents. But hey, this is what I do, is it not, Mr. Bobble? So, speaking of bobbles, I'm a bit of a bobblehead myself. I've got bobbles lurking around the back there. But yeah, so I thought Halloween was the thing I was thinking of yesterday. But I did neglect to mention what is the actual potentially most exciting thing about the news that came out. And of course, there's Blade, of course, is coming back. They're going to reboot Blade. And that's a good thing too. Doctor Strange, which apparently is going to be more of a horror story. Oh yes, because Doctor Strange does encounter some very strange beasties and pure, satanic stuff, demons and what have you. So yeah, I like Doctor Strange as well. The first one I thought was great. So there's things to look forward to. I'm not a fan of Captain Marvel. I'm not. And I despise Brie Larson as well. So hey, I want nothing to do with that particular leg or arm of the franchise. But, you know, the good news is that some of our guys, the good guys, are still going to be there. And with Taika Waititi at the helm of Thor, Love and Thunder, I love that title. I can't wait for a big banner poster of Love and Thunder and a t-shirt or a vest with that emblazoned all over it, with mighty Mjolnir in the middle of it. I fucking can't wait. I just hope that the two of them, Chris Hemsworth and Natalie Portman, get equal screen time, and that they get the chemistry which was lacking in the first two films. Maybe because they're going to be embittered towards each other because she's going to take the mantle from him, and that's where the confrontation and the friction comes into play. But of course it's Love and Thunder because he still loves her, but he's going to be fiercely jealous of what she's going to get that he no longer has. I'm running ahead. I've got no idea how they're going to deal with this, but they do take the brush strokes, the broad brush strokes from the comics. They definitely do. So it really has to follow pretty much what was in the comic books for God of Thunder and then the subsequent Lady Thor cycle. But they seem they've come out and just said straight away that she is going to be Thor. And there she is posing with Mjolnir and promising to get into shape for it. So, how are they going to do it? Your guess is as good as mine, but they have taken the mystery out of it, like, which in the books there was a mystery there as to who would be the one to wield it. So, anyway, but of course, if you want to know, the books exist and have done for quite some time, so the movie's lagging behind, so it's not really a spoiler, is it? Because if they're going to follow that story, then, hey, most comic book fans already know it. But there you go. So, raise your horn, in the manner of speaking, to Thor, and Lady Thor, and Beta Ray Bill, and anyone else from Asgard who's still fucking around, and anyone else who's worthy of wielding this. And I don't mean you, Steve Rogers, because you're all the way gone, son, all the way gone. So guys, great speaking to you, and hey, it's a bit of good news this time. I'll be back very shortly with masks. Maybe? Who knows? Who knows? But in the meantime, that is not in it. Because the thing about these things, although I do use this and I do put drink in it, is that you can't put it down. It's kind of, it just goes, it's kind of awkward. You can put it on your belt, but then it just swishes round and soaks your kilt. So although they look great, these things, and they're a piece of, Viking history, fucking awkward, I took this to the pub one time, and I was drinking lager, because I thought, well, I'm not going to put whiskey in it, it'd be right down the bottom there, be like, what the hell? It's in my eye, So there was a couple of pints went in there, of course, and I was like, hey, and it was foaming over the top, and people go, hey, wow, that looks great, that, and I was full of all Viking bling as well, I had braids in my hair, and I was like, and I was like, oh, fucking hell, my hand's killing me now, Jesus. Swapping it round, and then of course then you go like, oh, I finished that one off. Oh, do you want another one? Yeah, please, yeah. Then you forget, oh, I'm down for a piss now. I need the toilet. What you do with it then? It's just hold that for me. They look great, but hey, not very practical. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna see you all. Mjolnir. Chris Hemsworth, grow your hair again, or put that wig on, because Thor needs to have long locks. See you all later.